He grinned at June and stepped towards the open door. He was about to set foot in it. He felt a hand on his arm.
Wait.
What?
I'm not really, I'm just, oh gosh.
Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? June was probably afraid of. Being locked alone with the boy? They could only go down. We're gonna say being locked alone with the boy. But yeah, it's probably they could only go down. But being locked with the boy. After a little thought, Junpei decided that she had to be nervous because of being locked up with such a small place alone with a boy. In a way, it was kinda cute, very demure, and you could say, he thought. Still, even though it wasn't exactly roomy in the elevator, they weren't going to be pressed up against one another. At least, they didn't have to be. Still, it was making her nervous. Junpei couldn't help but think how innocent she was. Come on, let's go. Again, he stepped towards the elevator. And again, he felt himself restrained.
I said, wait a minute.
Why?
Aren't you afraid, Jumpy?
Afraid of what?
Well, I've never,
She never been in an elevator with a man alone before? Even so, she still seemed awfully alarmed.
I might get wet.
Oh my. What?
Down there. I'd get soaking wet. Well,
Well, I mean, of course you would. That's the way it works. I mean, I've never heard of anybody getting soaking wet anywhere else.
that, that's true. You don't mind
Mind what?
getting wet?
Well, I don't know. I think I'd probably, like it.
Gosh, Jumpy, you're so brave.
Really? I mean, I kind of think any guy would do the same thing, you know? What happens, happens, right? If you get the chance, you just gotta go for it. That's what a man's supposed to do, I guess.
You're so cool, Jumpy. I really admire you.
That doesn't really seem like the sort of thing you ought to admire someone for.
Well, I'm really scared.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you've never done it before.
Yes. So I don't think I'll be able to last very long, and then it'll be over.
Over?
Yes, I'll go to heaven.
Heaven?
It feels kind of like you're floating in space, and your mind gets so fuzzy, like when you pass out. At least, that's what I've heard from people who've experienced it.
Yes, I've heard that too. Although I don't think it's the same thing. I don't think the same thing happens to guys.
What?
Huh?
But it wouldn't happen to men too, wouldn't it? It would happen to anyone. Once it gets into your body, the same thing happens to everyone.
Well, I mean, usually it doesn't go inside the man. I mean, generally.
Yes, it does. Well, eventually it will. It's not like you really have a choice. Your body will force you to swallow some of it eventually.
What are you trying to do to me?
Nothing. I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm just saying that's what happens. It's psychological reaction to what you're experiencing.
Was what that was that really how it happened? It occurred to Junpei that perhaps that was how it worked. Perhaps he'd been mistaken all these years. He had misunderstood life so gravely? Had he misunderstood life so gravely? The thought terrified him. June seemed to be entirely oblivious to Junpei's mounting confusion and terror.
I know most men probably have larger lungs, but even then, I don't think you could hold your breath for 20 or even 10 minutes. Eventually, you have to breathe, and then the water would go to your lungs. Once that happens, your body won't be able to get oxygen anymore. You'll start to feel the floaty feeling as you pass out.
Ha 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 uh, Finally, Junpei understood. He understood that June was trying to say and why she was so scared. Yeah, you're right.